We got the idea of a coding tourism adventure because we were going to Leeson House, Field Study Centre on the island of Purbeck for Year 6 residential. And around that area is where Isaac Gulliver, famous Dorset smuggler and past Kinson resident, smuggled all his goods from across the seas to wherever he wants to sell his smuggled goods.
Once we had collected all of our photographs of Corfe Castle or Old Harry Rocks, we pieced together a coding adventure using Scratch, which the 4 of us used before. We decided our adventure would be where Isaac Gulliver went to Old Harry Rocks in a lugger to then go across heathlands and hills to get to a hiding place in Corfe Castle. We each made a different part of the adventure, working together but doing individual bits of it. We talked and gave each other ideas on how to make our individual parts of it. We made the adventure so the player would make choices on how the adventure would flow.
My part was to make the beginnings and introduce all the characters to the story. I also wanted people to know about the Dorset coastline and the Purbeck, so we made a map. We used the map so people can make choices in our adventure. We also had these pictures that we were going to use as background, but it didn't work, so we had to change them into a sprite. We wanted the user to use the mouse that was controlled by an arrow, and when they hovered over the map onto a certain colour, a picture of ours would pop up.
My part was to get the lugger from our sea to Old Harry Rocks and down to Studland Beach. My original idea was once the lugger gets so far, it go onto a different screen where you'd have to take a choice, but that was a bit hard than I could have done, so I kind of took a different route. I realised when we actually got onto Scratch and I had a little search around in all the options, you could use if the character is touching a specific colour, it will change to a different costume. So in my case, if the boat touched the colour of the rocks, it would capsize.
The aim of my part was to get Isaac to load all the goods onto the horse and then hide from the customs man. I wanted Isaac to hide behind something, but I couldn't. So then I realised if you wanted to hide something, the sprite had to hide behind another sprite. So we got our picture that we took and we edited it on Paint, cutting out the part I wanted Isaac to hide behind, and then we imported it into Scratch and then we made it into a sprite.
My part of the adventure was to show the different landscapes of the Isle of Purbeck by using Isaac Gulliver walking across those landscapes to get to Corfe Castle to hide the package. I had to do different remakes of the adventure because when I used Glide for the pack horse kept on going upside down. We took away parts of the script to make it right.